What's good, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be showing you the brushstroke techniques that I use and that you can use as well, so you can get really good at oil painting portraits just like I do right here. Now, I believe that it's very important to learn how to use your brush because you have endless possibilities that you can do with this thing right here. And I believe that the thing that separates a good artist from a great artist is how well they can get the details in with their brush and how well they can accurately represent what they see with their eyes onto a piece of paper or a canvas, depending on what you're using. Now, to start off, I think that the first thing that is the most important is just getting the general space covering right, because this is the one that I use the most, and it's so that I can just get all of the colors down. We're not doing like any specific blending. We're just getting colors down, getting a general area space covered. Now, what I like to do is, especially because I use a small brush to get small details, is I just make small little strokes on the paper right there. And this is so I can get like accurate laying down of like how I want my colors to be. Now, I don't really use large brush strokes or like long brush strokes because that's gonna cause the color to be a little bit messy, or some parts might be thicker than others. But when you're just chipping away at it, just like small, like you're chipping away at it, I'm going to show you a video on the screen right now so you can get like an accurate like visualization of what I'm talking about. You're just chipping away at it like small little things, and it's going to take a little bit longer, but you're getting the color down exactly where it needs to be. And this is precisely how we want it to be. And you can use a larger brush for this too, but we're just chipping away at it. We're just using small little brush strokes, and we're just filling out all of our general spaces in that way. Now, moving on to the next brushstroke technique that I use for blending in between skin tones is I like to just lay down the colors first with using that general chipping away technique. And now from here, I like to fade in between the borders. I'm not really blending fully between everything. I'm just fading those borders because we still want the colors to have that personality. And what I mean by the personality is that when you look closely over here, this is a self-portrait that I did. The colors aren't blended all the way to the point where you can't tell where one color is and the other one isn't. Because if you blend a color too much, it's hard to tell the difference between the two that are separating. But you see, you can accurately tell that this color right here is lighter than this one, and we still want to keep that look. But as we move on to the other stages, you're going to see the difference between just lightly fading in between the borders and fully fading between colors as well. But we're just using a dry brush for this as well. You want to use a dry brush because you're just creating a small little fade. I'm going to give you a visualization of this right now. If you've ever painted like an ombre, or like in your art class, if you ever faded between two different colors, like one white and then you move on to like a dark red, you're not really using a color on your brush. You just lay down all of those colors on your canvas already, and you're taking a dry brush and you're just wiping over it, cleaning up all that like choppiness that is in the paint or any sort of rough edges. You're just laying it down, and you're not using too much pressure too. You want to be soft and gentle with this. You want to move like artists, move smoothly, move like water. You don't want to be moving sharply or moving roughly. You got to move softly with the picture because you want to create a nice smooth looking picture, and you need to become one with the photo too. That's exactly how you do it. Just really get into that zone, get into that flow state, and allow your movements to be smooth, because that's how you're going to get good at painting. And it's really weird because whenever I'm tight or tensed up, whenever I'm creating a picture, it always turns out that same type of way. It's really weird. I don't know what it is, but whenever I'm loose and whenever I'm just in like a easygoing state, the picture always comes out way better. And I think that's because of like a mental association with it. Like if you're just allowing yourself to move freely, you're going to think of new ways to improve the picture. You're going to allow mistakes to happen. You're going to clean it up. You're not going to worry too much about it. And that actually makes the picture come out better. I always saw that too. But the times that I didn't do that, and I always was like trying to force a picture to come out a certain type of way, I was always forcing it to come out like how I saw it on the picture that I was like referencing. it never came out the way how I wanted it to. And I was experiencing this in art class too. I also have one photo over here that I want to show you because I just did like a 30-day painting challenge for myself, and I created a ton of pictures. I'm gonna show you it all right here. Like this whole stack is full of pictures. Here's one photo right here. Here's another photo. Here's the third photo. I'm just creating a whole bunch of portraits, and here's the one that I'm showing you how to create right now. Look at this handsome man right there. But here's the photo that I'm talking about. For this photo, it took me way longer than it had to because I was trying to force something and I wasn't allowing myself to just move freely with your brush. You really need to become one with your craft, and that's really how you're going to get good quickly. And that's exactly how I want you to be. That's exactly what I want your results to be. I want you to find this flow state that's inside of you, because that's the place that you're going to have the best type of creation. That's the time you're going to have the most development. It's a very weird thing to say just in words, but it's a feeling that you have inside, and it needs to be tapped into for you to get to this state right here. But everybody has it. You just need to believe in yourself, and you need to stay consistent with this too, and you're going to eventually find your way to it. And I guess that sort of bridges me into my 7-step guide on painting portraits in the description. Completely free. Go check that out. And it's for beginners, intermediate, but I try to target it more towards beginners because it's very broken down as step by step, and I have pictures on there that's going to guide you throughout all these steps so you can get to painting beautiful portraits just like this one right here. And I just created a 2.0 version. I help you out with like your underpainting, your traces. I also have like AI apps in there to help you out if you're struggling on like certain phases. And I also have video breakdowns in there too. So just check that out if you're interested. And now to get back into the video, let's move on to the next painting technique, which is blending with your whites. And for this one, like I was talking about in the previous stage, this is the difference between just blending the borders and blending the color fully. Over here, you can't really tell that this is a white. It looks sort of like a tan one, right? That tan color that I use right here, but I actually use strictly white in this area right here. And I blended it fully. I blended it all the way through the color. I just mixed it, just keep on mixing it all the way until you can't see the white anymore. And that's exactly how you want it to be whenever you're mixing with your whites, because these are a very bright area and you don't really want the white to stand out too much because you want a smooth skin looking texture and you want the light that's bouncing on your face to be soft. When you're looking at somebody's face, the light that's bouncing off of it is a very soft light. You don't really see the whites in their face. It's more of like just areas that are lighter than others, and that's exactly how you can get to this one right here. And you also want to make sure that the paint that you're using that's surrounding this white area is wet. You're not going to let this step from this step to this step, you don't want the paint to dry. You still want it to be wet so the blending can be as smooth as possible. And you see over here in the cheeks too, I just use strictly white, and you can't even tell. It's because I blended it so well that the colors just look like it's a lighter area right here. And that's how you can get your colors looking nice and with light reflection on your face. All right, so now moving on to the next step. Whenever you're detailing with white, this is going to be a different sort of mindset. Whenever you're mixing, you're going to use a smaller brush, and you actually want the white to keep its personality, but you're also going to keep it a little bit soft. It's not going to be super sharp, but you still want to see the whites. And the areas where I use this white are like around the eye and around the nose and my lips right here. All these different areas right here. You see that you can still tell that there's white, but I use a smaller brush and I just blended around the borders instead of blending the white fully to the point where you can't even tell where is white or where I use like a lighter tan color. And yeah, that's that step. And now to finish off, let's move on to the blacks. You're gonna do pretty much the same thing as the last step, but you're still going to use your small brush, but you're going to use sharper details. You're not going to blend in between the borders of the black because you want these blacks to stand out. And a good place to really see this in my self-portrait I did right here is around the eyelashes and around the hairs on my face, my facial hairs, and around the hair on my head. I didn't blend in between the borders of it because I want that black to stand out, and I want you to be able to tell the places where are like the hair is sticking out, or like whatever is supposed to be dark, or any sort of shadows that are really standing out in my face, just like the one right here. And yeah, those are the 5 brush stroke techniques that I wanted to teach you today. And just got to keep on practicing these things. And I hope that watching the video on the side of the screen and seeing it in real life application is very helpful for you. And you can easily implement these to the next photos that you make, because I want you to become the best artist that you can become. And again, check out that 7-step guide in the description. It's going to be very helpful for you. And also over there in my emailing list, you're going to get access to me, because I'm going to be launching an art coaching, helping you guys out with any questions that you have, guiding you to the place that you want to be at, because I know that it can be a little bit difficult. You can feel a little bit overwhelmed, but I'm telling you that this is something that is going to pay off well, because painting, and especially when you get good at it, you're gonna notice something very weird. People are gonna give you so much props for this, and it's like insane to think about. People are gonna give you so much props because it's such a cool skill to have, and you don't really expect people to have this, but if you're able to pull it out of your arsenal and just like whip out like crazy painting or like crazy self-portrait, and people see that, they're like, oh my gosh, like that's insane. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not trying to hype this up like crazy, but it's the reality of the situation. And it's just like with any craft that you have in general, if you break it down into simple, easy steps, these are the stuff that people don't see, and people don't know how to do all of these things right here. But when you break it down, you see how simple it is. It's very simple, but just because it's simple doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. I can lead you to the water, I can teach you all of these things, but the only way how you're actually going to learn these things practically and apply it well is if you actually pick up the brush and try it yourself in the pictures that you make. And that's why I'm teaching you how to do this right now, because I want you to become the best artist that you can become. I want you to be proud of the work that you make as well. So check that out if you're interested. Join the emailing list. And if you want to learn how to create underpaintings for your photos, click the video on the screen right now, and I'll see you all over there.